John Miller glanced at the clock on his mantle. It was exactly 8 p.m. the same hour every evening when he poured himself a drink and sat in the worn leather chair before the fireplace. The ritual hadn't changed in 10 years. 10 years of freedom. 10 years without fear. 10 years since he buried his wife Anna in an empty lot outside the edge of Portland. His suburban home looked luxurious from the outside, but inside it was hollow, haunted by silence. After Anna disappeared, he sold their old house and bought this one, determined to start over. A new place for a new life. No ghosts of the past, no guilt, no reminders of the night. She told him he wanted a divorce. The night his hands locked around her throat until the light faded from her eyes. The case had closed. A year later, without answers. Detective Tom Brown had never stopped looking at him with suspicion with the rare encounters that followed, but no evidence ever surfaced. Anna's body had never been found. John lived on. He drank, built his company, became respected in the community, a generous donor, a wealthy entrepreneur, a man admired in public. Nobody knew the truth of what happened in his first marriage. Nobody knew how Anna had really died. The doorbell rang sharp and sudden. John opened his eyes, startled. He wasn't expecting anyone. He had few friends, and none ever came uninvited. It had to be a delivery. He set his glass on the table and went to the door, opening it without checking the peephole. And there she was, Anna, his wife, the woman he had killed 10 years ago. John's blood drained from his face. His legs turned weak. His head filled with a roaring static like a radio dial turned all the way up. "Hi, John," she said in the same voice that once drove him mad with longing and fear. "What took you so long to answer?" She stood there exactly as she had on the night she died. Shoulder-length brown hair, green eyes, the small mole at the corner of her lip. A few wrinkles now, streaks of gray in her hair, but otherwise unchanged, as though she had been living somewhere else all this time. John's mouth went dry. He couldn't force a word out. "Are you just going to leave me in the cold?" She teased, smiling. "It's freezing out here." She brushed past him, slipped off her coat, and hung it neatly on the rack, on the very same spot where she used to hang in their old house. "You've redecorated," she said casually, glancing around the living room. "I like it. The couch looks better against that wall." John leaned against the doorway, frozen, staring. This was impossible. It had to be a hallucination, some cruel trick of the mind. She couldn't be here. He buried her himself. "And I," whispered, his voice breaking. "You died. I buried you." Anna laughed. That same soft, lilting laugh he remembered. "John, what are you talking about?" "I went to the doctor today. Remember? You dropped me off this morning." The scent hit him. Then Dior, her perfume. The same one she always wore. His heart pounded. "No," he muttered. "You're dead. You can't be. Here, I wrapped you in a blanket. I dug the grave." She stepped closer, pressing her palm to his forehead like she used to when he was ill. Her skin was warm, alive. "You're burning up," she said, gently. "You must be sick. Sit down or make you some tea." She moved into the kitchen like she knew every corner of the house. She pulled mugs from the exact cabinet they were in, filled the kettle, stirred sugar into her cup, exactly the way Aura always had to. Spoonfuls clockwise. Every movement was hers down to the smallest detail. John felt himself unravel. He remembered everything from that night. Her saying she wanted to leave, his hands tightening around her throat, the lifeless slump of her body, the frozen earth, the grave. He remembered it with a clarity that couldn't be denied. And yet, here she was alive, smiling, putting kimchi. Over the next 3 days, she stayed. Every morning, John awoke, half convinced it had been a dream, only to find Anna in the kitchen cooking breakfast, humming as though 10 years had evaporated. She asked about his day. She teased him about little things the way she always had. She acted as though none of it, the fight, the death, the grave, had ever happened. But John couldn't shake the terror. He tested her, asked her about details only Anna would know. She always answered perfectly. He studied her habits, how she tucked her hair, how she laughed, the way she rinsed dishes in the same order every time, all identical. And yet, the photographs told a different story. When he snapped pictures of her on his phone, she didn't appear. Instead, the images came back blurred or, worse, completely blank where she should have been. When he confronted her with the evidence showing her the photos, she looked at them and frowned in confusion. On her screen, she appeared perfectly clear. Somehow his phone lied. To him or to her. On the fourth night, the doorbell rang again. John's heart seized. It was Detective Brown. Evening, Mr. Miller, the detective said, his voice tinged with that old suspicion. Mind if I come in? John's pulse raced. What do you want? Routine follow-up. Brown said smoothly, though they both knew he was lying. We check in on old cases from time to time. John stepped aside, letting him in, desperate not to appear rattled. But when he turned toward the living room, Anna was gone. The movie they'd been watching still played on the screen, but the couch was empty. She was just here, John blurted, before he could stop himself. Brown's eyebrows lifted. She, my friend, John stammered. Interesting, Brown said, his eyes narrowing. You know, your wife's case is still technically open. Some new evidence has surfaced. People are talking. Sometimes the truth has a way of finding its way out. Jay's throat tightened. What? What evidence? Brown gave him a long, cold look. Bodies have a way of turning up. Eventually, the words lodged like ice in Jay's chest. After the detective left, John pressed against the wall, trembling. He closed his eyes, trying to calm himself, only to hear her voice again. Was he gone? He opened his eyes. Anna stood on the staircase watching him. Where were you? He demanded. Upstairs, she said, calmly. I thought it was better not to show myself. I don't want the police involved. Not after the way you've been acting. Her words cut deep. She looked so real, so alive, but something about her gaze was wrong, as though behind her eyes there was a weight he couldn't comprehend. That night, John couldn't sleep. He lay beside her, listening to her steady breathing, trying to convince himself she was flesh and blood. But when he finally rose, unable to bear the torment, he opened his secret folder on his computer, the one with old photos of Anna, the real Anna, before she vanished. He compared them side by side, with the woman upstairs, identical. Every feature matched, and yet doubt gnawed at him. What if he hadn't killed her after all? What if the memory was nothing but guilt twisting his mind into nightmares? But no, he remembered the body, the grave, the weight of the earth closing over her. He tested reality. Again, he took a new photo of his computer screen displaying Anna's old image, emailed it to himself, and deleted the photo from his phone. If the email arrived intact the next morning, he would know his memory wasn't lying. But when he opened it at breakfast, the image had changed into a smear of gray. He stared at it in horror. Something wrong? Anna asked, setting a plate of eggs in front of him, her smile soft and tender, her hand brushing his shoulder, like it always had. John swallowed hard, staring at her, realizing for the first time that whatever she was, real or not, she wasn't going to leave him. Not now. Not ever. And for the first time in 10 years, John Miller truly felt fear.